Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Breakdown with Hansen and Brown, the lockdown episodes, because we're locked down in our own homes. Haha, it's clever because it also rhymes with Brown. Co-hosting with me today is the impeccable, the never overlooked, the amazing, the jelly bean eating Joe Brown.
Hey, how's it doing?
Did you get it? I can't tell. We couldn't see the bean. Wow. God, he's so talented. Why does he
The
even work with me?
multi-talented Joe Brown. I'm
Why
also
does he-
really good at putting jelly beans in my mouth.
Wow,
Did you see that, folks?
you did see that. And with us today, so that it isn't just me and the jelly bean eating Joe, is the incredible Nick Ward. Nick, how you doing
Hello. I'm doing pretty fantastic. How are you?
today? I'm splendid.
Super de-duper.
Nick went to high school with the both of us, middle school with Joe, and is currently a freshman at the University of Alabama.
Yes.
Roll Tide.
Technically
Roll
a
Tide.
sophomore by credits, David.
Whoa, la-ti-da. All those AP classes
I
coming in.
know.
handy.
Watch out.
So, Nick, how are you doing? How are you holding in there?
I am hanging in there. It's been rough, but you gotta do what you gotta do to keep yourself from dying of boredom. Flatten the curve.
I really appreciate
Get
that you
swole.
dressed up for us today.
I know.
You know,
I went all out for
This is the
as far as
nicest-
you can tell.
it's the nicest anyone has ever looked on our
Yeah.
show, including
Yeah.
between Joe and I.
Wow.
Yeah, and oddly enough,
Let's
Nick,
get
when you
merch.
have a radio show, people just don't bother to dress up for it. It's like, where's
That's
the
so sad.
professionalism?
Yeah.
No. It's like if you couldn't see my legs, like why would I even wear pants or anything like that? That'd be
Yeah.
pretty silly.
We're all wearing pants, of course, though.
Of course.
Obviously.
Like a professional. Not an amateur. That's why I have
No.
a trophy in the background.
What's that trophy for?
Being the best. Clearly. It's what you get. It comes with your acceptance to the University of Alabama. They just ship you a buttload of trophies,
Yeah, they just make you feel real good about yourself.
They have them out overflowing, so they just send them.
They've got so many. The University of Alabama has so many actual trophies from like real accolades that they just hand them out to incoming students.
It's
to
just
get
their
rid of them.
admittance.
National championship, but this one's from like before Saban, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
even-
You're all like,
Doesn't
look
really
at this.
count.
It's a volleyball championship from like 1993 with my
Gee,
acceptance to
wow.
Alabama. They're just clearing out the shelves. They've just got like
Wow.
huge shelves in the athletic center, and they're just clearing them out every year. They're like,
They're just
oh, we'll send this one
overflowing.
off.
Is this Nick Ward? Yeah, I guess. Whatever.
Give
Nick
Nick
Ward.
a ward.
It's
Nick
funny
an
because my
A-
middle name starts with A. Ow! How'd you know?
Comedy legend. All right.
This is why you're the host.
That's true. Though I'm not quite
Technically
as
the
talented with
co-host.
jelly beans as Joe.
Sad.
Hey man, when you eat as many jelly beans as I do, you get pretty good at eating them. Let me tell you.
Practice does make perfect. Now,
Brian
Nick-
never stops. Yes.
Alabama is Roll Tide is pretty
Roll Tide.
far away
It is.
from Illinois. Now, Joe and I, we go like 2
Skipping the
hours.
jump.
Our school is like 2 hours away. Your school's a little bit more than 2 hours away.
It's a jaunt, yes.
So, because of that, how often do you get to come home? And how, it's got to be a very different experience than going to school closer to home.
It definitely is. You're very much on your own. If you're like I still call my parents all the time, but if you need something, you're like, I need something. I can't just scoot back home. It's about a 12-hour drive,
Mm-hmm.
and the nearest airport is about an hour or two away. So that doesn't happen a whole lot. I came home twice, and then this time that I'm home now is my third time home. So kinda
Did you get to
crazy.
do Thanksgiving at home?
Yes, Thanksgiving I came home, Christmas break, winter break, came home,
Mm.
and then spring break. Me and a couple buddies drove back up, which was an interesting trek.
And I bet like when we at University of Illinois, almost everyone you talk to lives in Illinois.
Yeah.
You
Same.
meet very few people. At Alabama, yeah, I bet you meet a lot of
people from
Non
Chicago.
Illinoisans.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is like Chicago. Like I'm on the water polo team there,
Yeah.
and I think we have like over half of our team is from like a 30-minute radius of where I'm at right now, and like 5 of them are from the same high school.
Well,
And now, are these good students, these kids that are on the water polo team?
Oh, they're fantastic.
Okay, so good students at the University of Illinois, they've imported from Chicago.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Over 60% of Alabama is out of state, so they're actively recruiting, like not Alabama.
That's crazy.
Now, that's completely different to the University of Illinois, which actively tries to keep in-state students. I believe the University of Illinois is, I don't know the exact percentage, 25% of kids on campus are international. And I think about half of the kids on campus are from Illinois or in-state, because Illinois has like a big mission statement to keep in-state students. Like that's a big deal. And if you're not from the state of Illinois, it's harder to get in and you pay higher tuition, which is the exact opposite experience to what you had with Bama.
This is true. I am very happy with the amount of tuition that I have to pay. That was a fantastic little bonus that they threw at me.
They just gave you a ton of money, and they're like, "Come here."
Yeah. They have like most colleges are like, yeah, just like write some essays. Like I still had to like apply for them and stuff, but it was like, yeah, if you apply and you have an ACT of this is what you get. And if it's this, then this is what you get. So it was just like super easy, but it still took me 2 days before May 1st to decide.
They're like, if you have a 28 on your ACT, you get a full ride. And then they start adding in bonuses. No, I'm joking.
Changed
but
that. They used to be like that like 4 years ago.
Wait, seriously? If you had a 28, you got a full ride?
Yeah. No, I think it was actually 30 if you got 30, you got a full ride. But then
I like the idea that like 30 is full ride, 31 is like full ride and they give you a snack, and like 32 they send you one of those trophies from
32 is where you start getting the trophy.
You get some random trophy from some event, and then 33 Nick Saban comes and just
like
shakes your hand or something.
But like honestly, if you get a perfect, which like obviously isn't easy, but if you get a perfect on your ACT or SAT, you get full ride, full like graduate school, and you get like a stipend.
Oh my God.
For you to come here.
I feel like it's getting easier to get a perfect on the ACT, because now you can just take part of the test. Like you can just take the English portion. Right. Whereas before, if you want to raise your score, you have to take the whole thing again.
What? I didn't know that I had to retake the whole thing to raise my score, and I was trying to get into fancy schools.
I don't know if that's factual, but I think like starting this year or soon, they're doing that.
They're letting you just super score? That's annoying.
Yeah.
Well, so that's interesting. So then my question for Nick would be, and this is like kind of a specific question, what do you know about, because I know all 3 of us, I'm pretty confident we all got the same score on the ACT. I think we all got 35s, right?
I got 32.
You got I thought you said you got a 35. Don't you pay like 0 tuition?
No, I only, all my tuition's covered, but then room and board.
Oh, okay.
Then,
so you got
like
full tuition, fees. Not room and board. That's insane.
Right. Yeah.
That pushes me off.
SAT, I would have done better, but can't really complain.
My SAT score was not very good, but I only took it once. I took it once and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're still paying out of the butthole.
Not only that, but I'm an engineering student at U of I.
Yeah, sorry.
If you're an engineering student at U of I, or if you're like, there's a lot of majors like STEM, MCB, and engineering, where you have to pay like an extra $5,000 a year for like lab fees. And now I'm not using a lab
a year for being engineer.
I don't see a lab anywhere.
Joe, the world is your lab. Go study something.
The world is my lab. I have my toolbox with me at all times.
See, that doesn't work for chemical engineers.
No. You can't just throw a wrench at a chemical and be...
No, typically not. I mean, if
open a meth lab.
Wrench is metal of some kind that you want to test on, then maybe, but...
Yeah, you could oxidize it. Wow.
True. Oxidation.
Right, well, speaking of chemical engineering, so you say you're a chemical engineering major. What's that like? How are the first year classes going?
It's not too bad. I was very worried, but I've been able to handle it pretty easily. I've had to study a lot more than I ever have before, but I've learned how to study. But it's weird because I've actually applied to be in a lab, and so I'm in a research lab with like inorganic chemistry, which I haven't taken. It's like way above my head, but like somehow I got in. And so
Hey.
I go from class where it's like, all right, this is what pH is. And everyone's like, what? And then I go to my lab and they're like, all right, cure cancer. And I was like, oh, all right,
Yeah,
gotcha.
the University of Alabama curing cancer.
Curing cancer.
We're working on it. I swear to God. I
They're
just
working
gave
on
a
it.
presentation on it yesterday. It was bad, but I gave a presentation on it.
This is cancer. It is bad.
It's bad. We should
This
fix
is
it.
what pH is.
That's all I got, folks.
So I have a lot of experience with some very elitist engineering students. The University of Illinois Engineering College is known for having some snobs. David's not in the engineering college, so I think he could attest from the other side of that.
Can.
There is there's a stigma on U of I's campus against the engineering student, and it's well deserved. There are some difficult to be around kids in the engineering college, and
They
I'm not
think
going to
they're
exclude
better than
myself
us.
from that list because I do think I'm better than you. So, yeah, Nick, what are the engineering students like at Bama? Is it similar to that, or they're a little bit more down to earth? I don't know. What's
There's
it like?
definitely a mix. There's definitely some of those kids that are like, yeah, I'm an engineering major and I'm in the honors college, which like both of those things I am. But they think they're better than everybody else. But like you're at Alabama, like you're in the same boat as the rest of us. But then there's a lot of other people where they're like me, where not to toot my own horn or anything, but they're more down to earth and they're just like, yeah, I'm just here. And I'll take whatever opportunities I can get. And then there's the frat boys, which
Frat
some of my
boys.
frat boy friends are listening. Some of them are extremely smart. My roommate being one of them. But other of them are not. And
Is
it's very funny.
is Greek life pretty big at Alabama?
Yes. To make it short, yes. Extremely big. It's like everything. It's yeah.
We got to go to Mount U of I too, but
Yeah.
Yes.
Fun fact, the University of Illinois actually has the largest Greek system of any college in the United States. I think somewhere around 27% of kids on campus are a part of some sort of fraternity or sorority.
And Joe and I are making great use of that system by
Not being a part of Greek life because
There it
it's
is.
not
Same
for
here.
me.
I'm surprised, really? 25% and you're the highest?
Oh, it's huge. And I lived in the middle of Greektown this year, like where I lived was surrounded by fraternities and sororities. They're everywhere. They're huge. They're obnoxious. I have passed some Greek houses that like some of them look like mansions. Some of them are just ridiculous. You pass it and you're like, that is like the Parthenon. That
Yeah.
is
Like
what?
I have this very same thing. I honestly like I want you guys to look up like some of the houses at Alabama and I'll look up some of the ones at Illinois because like it's insane. Like there's a whole like our whole university street is covered in mansions.
that's what
Like
I've heard.
it's
Like they're
insane. Like I'll
huge.
look up Illinois to see how it compares, but I swear
Well,
it's
what's the, David, do you
massive.
know the name of the one that I passed on the last night on campus where I went to go meet you? And I said I passed one that was so ridiculous I had to go read the nameplate, and you were like, "Oh, yep, that one." Like
Was it KD?
it might
Kappa
have been.
Delta? Was it
That's
sorority or
that's a
fraternity?
It was.
sorority.
I think it was a frat.
It was a frat, maybe Acacia then?
University.
It's kind of ridiculous. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't have as much property for them to
No.
build
Oh,
huge
geez,
places
I've
on.
never seen this one. This one's
But
ridiculous.
I bet do you get more like we're kind of stuck in the middle of the city or in Urbana-Champaign. Do you guys have more space? Like how
We
much property do these
we have a little. Our campus is pretty large, but it's like it's all campus. It's not like we're next to Tuscaloosa, the city, but it's a small city, and then outside that, it's just like nowhere, Alabama. But that lets us have a lot of like green space and stuff like that. So
Oh,
I
yep,
really
here it
enjoy it.
is. Okay, so I've pulled up 2 images. I'm gonna let them render first before I try and show them. Shoot.
the I thought going into college, seeing all these like frats and sororities, like seeing movies about them, like Animal House and all that. I was like, that's over exaggeration. It's never like that. It's not.
All right.
It's crazy.
So Nick, I'm gonna show you 2 from U of I, and then I'm gonna look up some from Bama. Let me just flip my camera real quick. This is the one that shoot. Really? There we go. This is the one that David mentioned, Acacia.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That one's probably
this is the one. This is the one that I was talking about that I passed on the street.
Oh, which one is that?
I don't know. I passed that on the way over. All right, so now I'm gonna.
Now you will see.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up some
Bama. Not larger.
Bama frats.
There isn't as much like hazing
Oh
anymore.
my God!
That's what I said.
There aren't
Holy shit! That's bigger than our student center.
Oh.
Wait. Look at that, David.
Oh, that's ATO. Yeah, that's probably the best one on campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
that's like a country club.
Holy crap.
Theta Chi, eh?
One
of my good friends is Theta Chi.
Let's see. So I can't even tell if some of these are just.
I have a lot of friends in SIGEP.
I can't tell if these are just the same picture over and over again because they're all so similar in design.
There's a whole street full of them.
This is okay. This is pretty nuts.
That's insane. Okay.
Now, are they especially the frats? Are they as nice on the inside as they are on the outside? Because they're not nice on the inside.
Depends. I've only I'm not in one. For the ones I've been inside, they're pretty nice. They're pretty big, But I can imagine the places like the living quarters aren't nearly as pristine as the outsides. But what living quarters really is? We're in college here.
And it's funny, some of them smell like skunk, They must have some pets that they keep in there. It's crazy.
Just like a skunk problem in the backyard. Something. It's stinky.
Everywhere.
There's actually a Snyder at U of I had that problem, and I was like, that's weird. Is somebody keeping a pet in here? What's
I didn't think you could.
Yeah. Oh, fun fact about Snyder. Snyder is the substance-free dorm at University of Illinois. So they're doing some good deeds, being just trying to stay substance-free, trying to stay,
stay no to drugs.
Say no to drugs.
Doesn't want Illinois?
It smells horrible there, though.
Doesn't Illinois want all of their dorms to be substance-free?
No, just the worst one.
Just Snyder. I feel like
just
by
the worst
one
dorm you could possibly live in.
By labeling one as substance-free, I feel like that just encourages more kids to go in there and smoke.
And then take a picture of the thing.
Yeah, look, I smoke
next to substance-free.
Look at how cool I am. Oh. Yeah.
David, have you figured out your housing for next year?
Oh, it's a little crazy because I applied to be I don't want to talk negatively of great University of Illinois, but I applied to be an RA because I want that free room and board. I want to save that money, and I want to help people, is what my application said. But then I got put in the alternate pool, which is fine, but I still haven't heard back from them. They're like, everyone on the list has an equal chance of getting it if someone pulls exits out. We know that's not true. There's got to be a reason you pick someone for something. So let me know if I'm near the top of the list or if I'm near the bottom of the list. If I'm near the bottom of the list, I'll just go do public housing and I'll be fine. If I'm near the top of the list, I'll hang on for a little bit longer. But it's kind of crazy.
Now you have a little bit of experience with wait lists, don't you, David?
Oh, thanks, Joe. Yeah, I sure do.
Because when we applied to college, David was waitlisted at 3 different universities.
Yeah, 3 different universities.
I feel you.
Which is insane because if you look up the numbers, a very, very small amount of people get waitlisted at any school. And you got waitlisted at 3.
You're right. That is pretty crazy, Joe.
Did you end up getting in any of those schools, David?
How bad did that feel, David?
It's a funny story.
When your parents died.
When you ended up at the University of Illinois.
I technically didn't get into them, but that's just because I picked the great University of Illinois before any of them could tell me no.
Before any of them got back to you.
That's right. That's the strat right there.
Except Notre Dame, that is told me no.
Ah.
But then
Notre Dame was just to be clear, no.
No. After putting me on their wait list, whatever. They sent me an email that was like, but if you want to transfer to our school after a year, here's how you can
No,
get
I got
information
that. I
about
got that
that.
from Case
That's
Western.
that's
No,
ridiculous.
No, I
Oh,
don't want to
get
do that.
out of here,
No.
no.
prestigious asshole.
You,
The
you,
other
you
funny
get
thing
you
about
get me
Notre
at
Dame,
if you don't want me at my worst, you don't get me at my best. You know.
exactly. No, I was gonna say the funny thing about Notre Dame is you applied early action and you were deferred, and then in the regular pool you got waitlisted. So you waited like 7 months to find out if you had gotten in.
Mm-hmm.
At least they had the decency to deny me after I got deferred. So I was just like, all right, I'm out.
That's exactly what happened to me with Case Western. It's not, not as good as Notre Dame. It's pretty good, but like
Especially for engineers.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
It's a
sure. For
pretty
sure.
good school.
Yeah, but it's not as well known as Notre Dame, I'd say. But got deferred, waitlisted again, and then they told me like, yeah, you could try and transfer in like second semester or something. I was like,
no.
I think
Such
during the
garbage.
college application process, I got really addicted to this specific kind of YouTube video called reaction videos, where people like
yeah.
wait and
A
open all of their
reaction
letters at
video. What
once.
is that?
Yeah.
Unboxing videos. What?
The acceptance reaction videos, and the reason why I love them was I love watching other kids' misery. Because here's the thing: none of those kids ever opened their acceptance letters to the 15 Ivy League elite schools that they applied to and got into all of them. What happened every time was they maybe got into one of them and they got denied from every other school. So you got to watch the video of this kid as their mental state slowly declines after opening 8 rejection letters, as they keep going through, let's open my Yale letter. And it's like, they said you didn't accept me to Yale. And then the next video, they're like, okay, but maybe Princeton. And like, no, they didn't accept me. And they're like, but Stanford this time. And it's like, Stanford said no. And they keep going. And then at the very end of the video, after they finally get accepted to some random school, they're like, so I'm really happy to be going to Carnegie Mellon. It's just great. Actually, that was one of my favorites. Was a girl who got denied from like 13 schools. She got into her safety school, and then she got rejected to like every other school. And she was applying for computer science, and she got into Carnegie Mellon, but not for computer science, for something else, because she had applied. She knew she wasn't going to get in for comp sci. And instead of sticking with the major that she wanted, she went to Carnegie Mellon with not the major that she wanted, just so she could go to Carnegie instead of her safety school. And I thought, that's
I
insane.
cannot imagine.
Not a great
doing
plan.
that.
Imagine changing your career plan just for the clout.
No. I know. That's like, I don't understand why people like pay so much money to go to a school that they can't do what they want to do in, and they have to like for Alabama, it's like, if I want to be in something, like there's a lot of people that like want to succeed and want to do stuff, but it's not nearly as competitive. It's like not cutthroat. It's like, if you want to succeed, other people will be like around you to help you, and like if you want to go out and get something, like nobody's gonna be in your way as much. So I could just be the best, and it's great. But then like some people are like paying like almost $100,000 a year to like be the worst.
Imagine paying 80 grand a year to be bottom of your class at Harvard.
I know.
And you know, Harvard
I
doesn't
don't know.
send you trophies.
Harvard does not, in fact, send you trophies. I heard they instead paddle your behind while wearing cloaks in a dark candlelit basement.
That's very
I
Harvard.
thought that was fraternities, but yeah, same thing.
Well, Bama's a little less, I've heard Bama is less ritualistic about the fraternity hazing. It's more like, we're gonna beat the shit out of you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, some of it, yeah. Some of it is still, wow, this is still really bad, so we have to keep it hush hush.
I constantly see things on like TikTok about the University of Illinois, which I never thought I'd see, but like my sister sends me TikToks all the time, every time she sees Illinois, that are like, I saw one today that was like, here's your calling card to go to the University of Illinois. And it was a bunch of clips of people partying at the bars and stuff. And she sent it to me. And I was like, that's not actually inaccurate. That is like, that's what like 70% of the school spends their weekends doing. It's pretty big. It's pretty big at Illinois.
Well, that's
Even I
because
know about new cams. Come on.
new cams, baby. That's because
I have not been to New Cams.
I only know about that because I follow Illinois Barstool just to see if any of the people that I know get on it.
one day.
One day, I
One
believe
day
in
I
you
will be
guys.
on. No, I mean it's because Champaign lets 19-year-olds into bars. So
There are some at Alabama too. Yeah, but
I know at
19.
places like Iowa, they're like you can get in, but you have to be out by 10 or something like that if you're under 20.
Oh, yeah,
But-
no,
That's lame.
that's not how Alabama works. If they have unders, that might you're in.
You're in.
Not that
See,
I would know
personally-
because I'm 18.
Personally, I don't do any drinking, but I am a big fan of the
course not,
food
that's
spots. The food
course
spots
you
that are
know.
specifically for drunk college kids.
Oh yeah.
So good.
I love them. We have a wing hut across from, I think, Lions.
Yeah.
There's a
across
wing
from
hut
mine.
on Green Street at University of Illinois that you walk in and you can order wings at like whatever number you want. You'll be like, I want 13 wings and 2 containers of ranch and cookies and cream milkshake. And they're like, take it, get out.
we have quite a few.
You're like
of them.
wandering around at 1 a.m. with your wings, just like.
And they don't want you in there, which is weird. You know, you think they want customers, but they just want your money, and they're like, "Get
I mean,
out."
Once you pay,
Like,
you're
get out.
already done. You don't do anything for me.
There's
You're
no
just a
no
nuisance.
tables. They just have like a platform across the windows and little stools, and all the stools are uneven.
So they were ready for this. They were ready for takeout
Oh, yeah.
quarantine.
But it's so good. Oh, those are like crazy
amazing.
good wings.
I
I don't
know.
know why.
We've got a couple. My favorite place had like it's called a wing spot, but like you don't go there for the wings. But
Mm.
Buffalo Phil's, like their menu slaps, but all of their best stuff is off of the menu, and I know like all of it, and that's how much I love it already. Like the first time I visited there, my cousin like was like, all right, this is the spot, and I was like, you got it, guys.
There
They
is
gave
also
Nick the secret menu as a freshman.
this
I know.
secret menu.
Before I was a freshman, this was
Yep.
senior year.
There is a restaurant on U of I's campus that was 2 blocks from where I lived, and I ate there once with my family over the summer before I came on campus. And I never ate there once on campus because I've never been so sick in my life after eating it. It's called the Fat Sandwich Company. David,
Fat
have you ever
Sandwich.
eaten at the Fat Sandwich Company? Fat Sandwich Company will basically put any bar food / appetizer on a sandwich for you. A couple that I know of, that I remember off the top of my head, there's a sandwich called the Fat Chief, which is a sandwich with chicken tenders and mozzarella sticks and french fries and marinara sauce. There's one called the Fat Illini, which is the same thing, but with ranch instead of marinara sauce. When we went there as a family, my dad ordered a sandwich that had a burger, a fried egg, ketchup, mayo, mozzarella sticks, chicken tenders, and french fries on one, like, just sandwich.
How do you
They
put
have-
a burger on is it like a full
They
burger? or
cooked the
just,
burger
like,
patty, and they just threw it on the sandwich.
so it's a burger. Wait.
It
It's a
opens
burger
it's like sub bread, like hoagie bread.
Okay.
And they throw a burger
They
patty on
made
it
a
with an egg.
sandwich
Yeah.
and then
mozzarella
put it in a sandwich.
And they just oh no, yeah, it was just a burger patty.
Okay.
Burger
That makes more
patty. It
sense.
wasn't like a
Entire
whole ass
burger.
burger that they threw in the sandwich. There's like 90 items on the menu, and
That
every
is
single item has some
insane.
weird. It's like the Fat Luigi. The Fat Luigi, I think, is like mozzarella sticks and stuff. But yeah, they all have a name, and it's the Fat something. And
It's
I've
the
never
leading
felt
cause of
so
heart
sick in my
disease.
life.
It's the
Wow.
leading cause of heart disease in
Number
Illinois.
one.
It's
Number
that,
one.
just that
U of
restaurant.
I.
And it
You
happens to
guys,
be.
you gotta have something where you know.
It happens to be right next to an Insomnia Cookies, which just adds
Oh,
to the appeal.
insomnia cookies.
Well,
It-
when you're done with your fat sandwich, you don't have room for a cookie, but you want
Dessert goes to the heart, David.
it.
That's not. There's no limit.
Well, he is a chemical engineer, so I guess he's
know.
right.
I do know. I'm technically chemical and biological engineer.
Yeah, he's
so I know best.
I'm gonna
I
take that
wanna
advice. More jelly beans.
I want to do food science, you know? I want to, actually,
missed
because
that
otherwise
one.
I'd be majoring in food science. But I think it's interesting to be like, yes, people will like this chemical better than this chemical.
No, it's crazy.
That's literally what my dad does for a living. He's a
Really?
chemical engineer. Yeah,
Wow.
he works in food manufacturing.
So
Oh,
can you-
fun fact about my dad. He patented and then sold to Nabisco the formula for fudge Oreos.
Wow.
Wow.
When I was really little,
Yeah.
we had tons of Oreos in our house all the time, and I never knew why.
So
And then later on, I asked my dad about it, and he was like, "Yeah, well, they came up with this idea for fudge Oreos, so they contracted me to like come up with a formula that could work." Because apparently the vanilla cream that they put in Oreos is thin enough you can just squeeze it out of a tube onto the cookies, and the fudge is too thick to do that. So he had to come up with a specific formula for the fudge that could be like squeezed onto the cookies.
does your
That
dad get
makes
money every time
Oreos not
Oreos are
sound
sold?
very
No, he
appealing,
sold
but-
it. I think he sold it for like $10,000 or $15,000 or something like that.
Wow.
All right.
He patented it and then sold it to them.
I want an Oreo now.
Yeah.
I want more jelly beans.
Actively trying to avoid the Corin 15.
The corn.
Let's see.
Yo,
Dude, I
straight
don't
up,
know.
I've gained like 8 pounds since quarantine started.
Really?
Yeah, it's because like
How about the same?
I eat like home cooked food every day now. Like I was
Okay.
eating nothing at college, and I was walking like 10
Really?
miles a day.
Okay, yeah.
Illinois campus is huge, dude.
Yeah. Because you guys are mixed in. It's not all academic buildings and stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
walk all over the place.
Damn.
I take the bus system, but I think I've gained a little bit too. I need to work out more, but like
That is the only thing that has kept me sane.
it's other than running, and then sometimes I bust out the rollerblades. You know, I don't know. I don't have any weights at my house. You know, we don't have
No.
I
any
have
weights.
nothing but
I
a
am
pull-up
blessed.
bar.
I have a milk jug filled with water.
That you have no excuse then, David.
You're right. You're right.
Lord.
8 pounds of water.
I blame my 8 pounds on these suckers.
Oh,
Not the cup full of jelly beans?
We just had Easter. No, the cup full of jelly beans I've just been whittling away at recently. I've had so many of these Reese's peanut butter eggs. To tell you exactly how many I've had, this is my last one. I've been saving it.
Wow.
I've
that doesn't
probably
tell
had
us
like,
exactly how many
That
you've
does
had at
not
all.
Tell me at all.
oh, just
Probably
that
know
I've
you
eat-
could have
I've
started
Oh,
eaten
with
I've
through-
eaten all of them, but one.
except
I mean
one.
is I've eaten through all of my Easter candy except for this. I probably had like 20 of them because my brother
That's pretty
left. He was supposed to be here for Easter and he went back down. So a bunch of his somehow managed to end up in my Easter basket. I don't know how that
Good idea.
happened,
Officer,
but
how many people survived the plane crash? They
All
all
of
died
them,
except
but
one. How many people are on the plane? Oh, just one. Oh,
All of them.
okay.
of course the statistics major is giving me a hard time about the way I phrased that.
Actuarial science, not statistics.
Woohoo.
Statistics is a
Oh,
mathematic.
okay.
Actuarial science is a science. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, so it's
Wow.
worse than statistics. Fun.
It's like statistics, but cooler because
Cooler.
it
Makes your kids bring your kids to work day.
I'm just
feel
gonna do a
better about
quick
you.
Google search. Let's just shoot. I'm just
I get to
gonna-
wear a lab coat because I'm a scientist, as
Oh,
an
wow.
actuarial scientist.
Mhm.
What do actuaries do? Let's see.
Actually,
They tell you how much risk you have.
An actuary is a business professional who analyzes the financial consequences of risk.
Boom.
Actuaries use mathematics, statistics, and financial theory to study uncertain future events, especially those of concern to insurance and pension programs.
Now I know what
you're
you're
going to be
thinking.
great at gambling.
I know what you're thinking. Wow, what an awesome major. And you're right.
Wow.
The end. And you're right.
Stole
I
the
am.
words right out of my mouth.
I
Yeah,
actually
he's just
got
gonna
to
end
take,
it on that one.
I got to take a gambling class
Wow.
at U of I. It was like game theory having to do with like games, gambling, and sports betting and stuff like that. And it was kind of a cool class. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd like to quote Kellen Gilmartin very quickly.
Please.
I don't have a gambling problem. I have a gambling addiction. It's only a problem if you lose. Shout out to Kellen for that.
That is a
Kellen will stick
very
with me
Kellen
forever.
line.
Yes.
One thing I've missed more than anything is March Madness. And Kellen Gilmartin
I
always
know.
ran those March Madness brackets.
He did. I signed up for it.
He said
I
he
was
had to
just about
return
to fill
everyone's
out my
money,
bracket.
too.
The brackets were about to come out. Like we were about to like know who all was in the tournament so we could fill out our brackets. And then
Illinois was gonna go all the way, you know?
Illinois
You
was
were,
going to
like,
win the whole thing
high.
on my bracket.
Yeah.
Weren't you guys like a 4 or gonna be a 4 or something like that?
Oh, no, not a 4,
Maybe.
but 20.
No, definitely not a 20 seed. There are no 20 seeds.
Definitely not a 20, Jill.
No, I meant
think
I think we were 20 like overall.
Oh, so that'll
Somewhere
put
around
you at
there.
around 4.
4, 5. Depending on how we did in the Big Ten tournament, if we lost to Iowa in the tournament, we might have gone down to like a 6, but we were definitely in the tournament.
Alabama was definitely not. So still bummed, but didn't have my home team to root for.
Well, you didn't have Sexton. What was the guy's name?
Yeah, Colin Sexton's best basketball player to come out of Alabama recent memory, at least. I went to a game. I only went to one, but it was pretty good.
Well, at least you
Beat
guys,
LSU.
at least you have football to watch. Oh, wait, this year.
I know, it's devastating. We lost 2 whole games. You guys wouldn't know anything about that, would
Just
you?
sad.
No, not at all.
No, because we lost 6 whole games. We
wow.
lost our games in style. All right.
Oh, okay.
The
good.
University of Illinois football team did not know a lot, but they sure knew how to make a game interesting.
Yeah.
They would be like, "Oh, let's not win by too much. Let's not win by.
Whoa,
let's
whoa,
give them a
whoa.
little bit." They'd be like, "We're 2
Come to
touchdowns
think of
ahead.
it, let's just
Why
not
don't we
win.
just?" It'd be like, "Let's just." The Nebraska game is the one I'm thinking about, where Illinois was winning by like, I don't know, they're winning by like 3 touchdowns, weren't they? After halftime.
I think at most they were winning by 2 touchdowns, but it's
It
still
was like
big enough
going.
lead.
It was going back and forth. Like every time they started to pull ahead, they're like, "All right, guys, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's keep it interesting."
Yeah. I don't want people
They'd
to
be like,
lose.
"Let's just fumble it real quick. Let them get it back." And then it ended with Illinois supposed to hit a field goal to go into overtime, and it hits like the uprights and goes off.
Oh,
and we're like-
Chicago fashion.
we're like,
The
what is happening?
I remember at the start of the last year's football season, there was they were setting the line in Vegas for the total number of losses between Alabama and Clemson, and I believe they set it at 1.5 between the 2 schools.
Wow. Yeah.
In regular season, not in postseason. And
Yeah.
so if you took the over on
Clemson's not
that,
gonna lose
Alabama
'cause they
got
don't
it
play
for you
anybody.
with their 2 losses. But Clemson, I don't think had a single loss. So
They don't play anybody. They're in the ACC. They're never gonna not make the college football playoffs.
True. I don't get why they stack the SEC and leave the ACC alone. They should switch up some of the schools.
More.
Excuse me.
But whatever.
SEC
That's just a
more.
Big Ten guy whose schools always have to face other really good schools. The Big Ten's kind of packed. Whatever.
Ohio
Not
State's
mad.
made it, but they get clapped usually. They held it. I wanted them to beat Clemson so bad.
Me
But
too.
at least now that Clemson got clapped by LSU, I can say that Alabama could have been better than Clemson, even though we didn't play, because we lost by 5. The LSU game, even though we lost, that was the greatest game I've ever seen, like live or not live. That was amazing.
I think
Shout
that
out to Ms. Lampa if she's listening. I have her 2 favorite teams in the background. You know, the Panthers and Crimson Tide. I know you love them both.
We've also got
Panthers?
a Bears poster.
I know. That
Wait,
Bears. Bears are going for the Super
Panthers?
Bowl. Yes, sir. They're
I
going to be
can't see
so
the hat.
bad.
Oh yeah.
I got
They
I
hit
got
Firebrand
Stacey
Riviera.
a little bit.
They decided. You know, I do have to comment on the irony that the whole reason we changed the topic of the show is so that people would listen to us not talk about football.
Yeah, but you know what?
That is all I want to talk about.
Well, that's kind of all I want
have
to talk
some
about too.
Opinions, and I intend to share them.
Yeah, I'm sick of talking about musical theater. Let's talk about football. Hey, David Hansen.
God, Mike's episode was
big-
such a drag.
You're a big fan of the Packers.
Oh, so the
How
NFL
do you
draft was
feel-
last night.
How do you feel about the first round pick of the Packers?
It was so bad. It was so
You
bad.
didn't love it?
Okay. Because they drafted a guy named
Jordan. Love that pick.
So for all of you who don't care about football, you might want to fast forward a little bit because we're going to talk about the draft really quickly. So the
Yeah, just skip the
Packers
episode.
had a late
moving
first round
slow
pick because they
motion,
did
so
well
that's
last
right.
season. They did really well last season, and they have a chance to go to the Super Bowl this year if they pick people. Now, Aaron Rodgers, he needs someone more to throw to other than Devontae Adams. They should have drafted a wide receiver. I get it. The wide receiver class is pretty deep, and they can get one in the second round. But why not pick an offensive lineman or defensive? But no, they trade up their pick over 3 teams that don't need a quarterback. There were 3 teams that would have picked
Nobody
before
was
him.
going to take him.
They were, yeah. It
In
was like
true
the
Bears
Ravens.
fashion, honestly.
It
The
was
Ravens who have
Ravens,
Lamar Jackson are
right?
not going to pick up a quarterback.
The Titans who
The
have
Titans
Tannehill.
could have.
Yeah, the Titans just
Would
signed
they-
Tannehill.
I mean,
They just signed Tannehill.
Tannehill
yeah.
made it to the Pro Bowl.
I
and
know,
then-
but he's old.
I get okay, and then Seattle.
That's the
who
only defense I have.
maybe
for
Seattle
it.
is looking for a backup to Russell Wilson, but I doubt it. And even if they would,
Not in the
they wouldn't have
first
taken
round.
Love in the first round. So the
I know.
Packers trade up to get a quarterback, a backup for Aaron Rodgers, who's like, I'm going to play till I'm 40.
Nah, you know how Bears fans.
My theory is Aaron Rodgers did something to mildly tick off one of the managers of the Packers, like right before they were going to make the pick, like sent him a meme that was in bad taste or something. And the guy's like, "Oh, you son of a." Like, all right, boys, change the game plan. We're taking Love.
And
We need to show this guy who's boss.
Announcers were like, "Oh, well, this is around the same time when they drafted Aaron Rodgers and they still had Brett Favre. He was around Aaron Rodgers' age when they did that." Well, there's a difference. You're not going to get an Aaron Rodgers or a Brett Favre with every quarterback you draft.
Not to mention the fact that, like, Aaron Rodgers has been taking care of his body and doing everything that he needs to do to be able to play longer and longer. He could probably play another 7-8 years if he stays in shape. Brett Favre was a human battering ram. That dude was held together by, like, athletic tape and sheer will.
And Levi jeans.
And the Levi jeans.
He, like, never missed a game until, like, he broke everything in one
Everything
season.
in his body is just broken, and he's just put more tape on it. We got to get out there.
He just shut down. Now, Nick, your ex. No, not your ex. Your current quarterback. I was thinking of Jalen Hurts for some reason. But Tua.
Nothing but love and respect for my Jalen.
Yeah, baby. Your old current quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, got drafted 5th by the Miami Dolphins.
Did.
A team that I think is so hopeless that any player that goes there
strongly disagree.
No?
The Dolphins have 14 picks in this draft, and now I'm going to keep it PG here, but if you throw enough stuff against the wall, some of it is going to stick.
How many did they have in the first round? 2?
3.
3 in the first round.
They got Tua, an offensive lineman, and a cornerback. So,
well, they need offensive line. I still can't believe they got rid of Kenyon Drake. But
they tanked.
They had Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, he went to the Cardinals. Who's their running back now? Is it Balaj, or did they pick someone up over the offseason?
Yeah.
I like Balaj.
He was on my fantasy team last year. I thought he would do well. Also, I thought it would be a funny fantasy football team name.
Balaj.
He had Adam
Thielen my
Thielen
too.
Thielen my ballage. It was hilarious. I was just thinking of, and this wows me every time. So, the Dolphins' current quarterback, their starter is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic, big personality. He's been playing in the NFL for a long time. He's played for, like, every team. He's a solid quarterback, right?
Yes.
So at one point, I looked up where he went to school. I don't remember why, but I was thinking about it. And David, do you know where Ryan Fitzpatrick went to college?
I know it's like an Ivy League school, right? Was it Harvard?
He went to Harvard.
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, for anybody who's ever watched, like, one of his, like, press conferences where he comes out in, like, the quadruple deep V-neck and the chains and the sunglasses, and he's like, "Let the Fitzmagic roll, baby," right?
Yeah.
He went to Harvard.
Like back in my football heyday, that
gives me a
trophy
lot more
was
respect for Harvard. To be honest with you.
I don't know. I mean, the Dolphins can't keep Fitzpatrick, Josh Rosen, and Tua all on the same roster.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to trade Josh Rosen to someone like the Patriots and get even more stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
they tanked so effectively with the new 17.
They didn't even have the first pick. They tanked and they managed to screw up tanking and they still got Tua. I don't know.
Leave it to the Dolphins to not tank effectively.
That's
the Bengals game.
Honestly, I think they did tank effectively. Like, they didn't lose. They didn't get the first pick, obviously. But they traded away everything, got so many picks for it, and they still found a way to win. So their players that were supposed to be garbage still found a way to win, and now they're upgrading them. I think they're going to be decent.
Okay.
They're not good. But look at their division. They have the Patriots, who have God knows who at quarterback.
Yeah, true.
They have the Redskins, who have Chase Young, and that's about it.
Nope.
And
Redskins aren't in their division. It's Jets, Dolphins, Bills, and Patriots. Right. Yeah.
Okay, well, the Jets.
The Bills are pretty good, though. The Bills are pretty good right now.
The Bills are pretty good, but with a new 7-17 playoff, if we have a season,
they could do something.
I don't know. They could sneak in.
I mean, they get to play the Jets twice a year.
It's a bold prediction, but last night in a fantasy football group chat, people were roasting me, saying the Dolphins are still going to be bad. And so I had to defend them, and I made a bold prediction, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm just worried that they gave up so much because they got rid of Kenny Stills, got rid of Drake. I'm just worried. Some of their defense they got rid of.
Yeah. I'm still mad at that group chat because I got excited when the Bears picked up Nick Foles, and they were like, Nick Foles is an old retired backup quarterback. And I'm like, Nick Foles was a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Listen, anything's better than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention the Bears still have a pretty awesome defense, right? They're building up.
I would have just waited, though.
Yeah.
It was so early, and they paid him so much, and now Cam Newton is still sitting out there.
That was my thing. Like there were a lot of quarterbacks that were in free agency this year, and the best they could do was Nick Foles.
Yeah, I know. We're like, I don't know.
But it's not horrible. Like it's not the end of the world. It's not like they went out there and got like Tyrod Taylor, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, Tyrod Taylor's our guy, like for sure. Yeah, no, we're gonna take a quarterback with the first pick.
Yeah.
Tyrod Taylor is the guy. Ooh, Josh Allen? Oh, okay.
Ooh.
He's looking pretty big over there. Damn. All right.
Yo, Josh Allen. I think my dad was saying that the Bengals should have taken Chase Young just because Chase Young is like everyone was saying like the best player in the draft. Ohio State, go Bucks. But I don't know. I think Joe Burrow is something special.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. I have mixed feelings about Joe Burrow.
Why? Because your team.
He did beat Alabama, and that is one thing. I will admit my bias there. But at the same time, like he just doesn't seem like as good of a leader as some of the other quarterbacks. Like
I can see that.
His personality doesn't seem in the right spot.
The reason
it's a ticky-tack thing, but
it makes a difference when he's leading the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has really good vision of the field. You know, I think he's a very smart player who can see a lot. So,
I think
speaking of talented quarterbacks, I know David wants to get this away from football, but you can't not talk about the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers next year are going to be a buzzsaw.
How did they get Gronk?
They got Gronk because Gronk will only play with Brady. Brady was just like,
but
Gronk,
honestly,
come out of retirement. And he's like,
the Patriots found a way to get a fourth rounder out of a retired player.
They traded,
That is impressive.
It's crazy.
I respect that. I think it's all Belichick. Belichick is in control of all of this.
I think part of it's also Brady was like, I want Gronk. And they're like, okay, whatever you say. I mean, you're Brady.
We already have two. No.
Not O.J. Howard or no.
They've got O.J. Howard. They've got Mike Evans. They've got Tom Brady. They have the best tight end to ever play football. He's a little out of shape, but he's also probably rested from some of his injuries, right? He retired because of injury, so he's not going to be so injured anymore, and he's still Gronk. They just drafted a first-rounder OT. They're trying to give Brady some protection, right? Yeah. And they have the rest of their draft to, like, fill in little holes. They have a defense that went from, like –
Chris Godwin, the fantasy
like a top football
Chris Godwin. You have – so basically – Brady has all the weapons he needs on offense. They're building him some defenses, some O-line. They have a defense that went from being like the worst defense ever to being like top 5 last year, right? Their defense is pretty good. And on top of that, let's not forget, they have Tom Brady running this offense.
Yeah, they won't throw an interception every other drive.
Tom Brady can have a 30-touchdown season without the 30 interceptions.
They made Jameis Winston go fix his eyes, and they're like, yeah, you're dismissed.
Yeah, goodbye.
Absolutely insane.
Is there any other big stories from the draft, Nick, that you feel passionate about?
Xavier McKinney got screwed. Safety from Alabama. And he is an absolute dog. He was probably one of the best defensive backs in the class. But he just dropped to the second round. Now I hope he slides to the Bears, but he won't because somebody's going to get some sense and grab him.
Yeah, I mean the Bears have they have like a middle round pick, I think.
Yeah, they have like 2 second rounds and then don't pick again until like the 5th round because they traded them all away. It's bad.
but they got Mac, so.
You have Khalil.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, in that case, now that we're done talking about Alabama players that got drafted,
Okay.
I would like to mention one last thing, is that the first 3 players off the board all played at Ohio State at one point.
This is true. However, how many national championships did they win?
Anyways, we're going to move on to the last part of our show. The way we always end. We might go a little overtime this time, but that's all right, because there's not someone banging on the door trying to get into the radio room that we're keeping out like usual, because we're bad, Jonah, or bad people.
We're bad at keeping time.
Anyways, this part of the show we call Sticks and Stones to pay your student loans.
Yeah.
Is that right, Joe? I don't know.
Sticks and stones to pay your loans. I don't usually add the students part. It kind of ruins the rhythm.
You're right.
Sticks and stones to pay your loans.
I just screw everything up. All right. Sticks and stones
Not a wreck,
to
God.
pay your loans. Now, the way this game works, for those of you uninitiated watching, it's that we come up with scenarios where you get enough money to pay off all of your student loans, but this stipulation or this scenario happens to you. It's kind of wacky. It's kind of crazy, like, I don't know, you have googly eyes for 5 years, stuff like that. Typically a little, yeah, but that's how it works. And then we decide whether or not we would take that, if we would take it for the money, because money and student loans are scary. Anyways, my scenario for this week, I don't know if Nick, we didn't tell you about this beforehand, because
I did my homework. I'm ready. I got it.
You got one?
He watched the episode with Mike.
I did my homework. I didn't dress up this nice. I don't half-ass
You are
two things,
the most
David.
prepared guest we have ever had.
One thing.
So on this show, I have a naughty list, where if guests are naughty, they go on the naughty list. There's no repercussions. You are now the first guest on the good list. We're gonna have a naughty and a nice list, and Nick Ward is.
Who is on the naughty list? Might I?
Basically every other guest that has ever been on our show. Mostly Kate Gerke. Her name's on it like 90 times.
Kate said A, she didn't like pizza when we were streaming on Pizza FM, and B, we played a game near Valentine's Day where whoever said words like love or mushy stuff like that the most, whoever did that got on the naughty list. And
I think Kate and I were actually tied towards the end of the episode, and then I just stopped saying anything for the last 10 minutes in the hopes she would accidentally say something else. And then she did.
Wow, what a great episode. I was
completely silent for 10 minutes.
What great memories. You can go and watch at our YouTube channel and catch up on Breakdown with Hansen and Brown. All right, now that I've plugged our show. Oh, we didn't do a fake ad read this time. That's fine. We don't have to. It can be for jelly beans or something.
We did 3 last time. That's fine.
Fake ad read, jelly beans, blah, blah, blah.
Starburst jelly beans.
Boom.
They're good.
Great.
They taste like Skittles.
Ad read done. You know what? I have a scenario, but Nick, since you did your homework, why don't you start us off?
All right. So to pay off your student loans, or loans, as we're saying, a random person of the Alabama football team, it doesn't necessarily have to be a player, but just someone associated with the team. Yes.
Okay.
Blindside tackles you once a week at random.
Oh,
so it could be Nick Saban, could be the starting linebacker, could be backup water boy once a week at random.
Anywhere. This could happen anywhere.
Anytime. You could be middle of your finals.
Oh, man, that sounds like the worst version of hazing, but it's the freaking Alabama football team, which I'd like to point out.
Could be the water boy. You don't know.
So based on the number of players on the team compared to like staff, you have like a more than 50% chance of getting hit by a player at any given time. Yeah, and I would not want to get blindside tackled by anyone on Bama's. Not even the kicker. The kicker probably runs circles around me. The kicker is probably like 6'4", 220 pounds of muscle, right? I don't want to get tackled by any of those guys.
Nope. And especially with stay at home, you're going to hear the doorbell ring and your mom's going to open the door and she'll be like, oh, there's someone here to see you. You're going to like come down the stairs and out of nowhere, Alabama's going to tackle you in your own home.
John Cena.
No.
how long would you have to put up with it for it to be a yes?
Oh.
Okay, well let's stipulate. Let's just say it's to the end of college, right? Let's say
Okay.
like 3 years, once a week, getting absolutely wrecked.
Mm-hmm. You're always paranoid. Like it could be any time.
Here's my thing. This could be good. Like, what a cool party trick. Like, you're just at some party and you hear like a stampede and you guys, everyone, watch this. And you just out of nowhere, like, I don't know, starting.
You just get like clocked over and some guy, and everyone's like,
Boom.
was that Tua?
Was that
Saturday night hasn't happened yet this week. You're like, all right, it is coming. I know. And then the water boy walks in and just,
You're like, no, come on.
Man,
no, the
let's be
one
honest.
time I needed you.
I could probably get wrecked by a water boy. I don't know who the water boy at Bama is, but I am not a very
I
physically
know,
intimidating person.
someone who is a water boy.
Do they stick around for a
Would they
little
be
bit?
able to just tackle me?
I mean, they're average. They're like me
Average
or
build.
smaller. They're normal.
Joe, if you don't see it
students.
coming, they
probably
can
still-
tackle you.
Yeah,
If you
if
don't
they
see
don't
it
see it, if I don't see it coming, they're gonna wreck me.
Yeah, that's
So-
I would. Yeah,
Like, do they stick around after they tackle you, or do they just leave after that? Or do you get to talk with them for a little bit?
I would say they just leave.
Because if
Do they at least taunt you first?
If Nick Saban
Like
came
knock you
out
over
of the
like
woods, and
boom.
just, yeah,
No, I
boom,
think
and
they
just
take you
walk
to
out.
dinner first, Joe.
Yeah. They sit you down for a nice meal, and right when
All right, I'm ready. And then another guy comes in from this.
the bill comes out, and you're like, "I got this," and Nick Saban's like, "No, please let me," and then he pays
I'm
it
Nick
for you,
Saban.
and you get up to leave.
You open
and then,
you
boom.
open the bill and a linebacker flies out of the bill to tackle you.
Yes.
This I
wish they
imagine
would
a
stick
lot of
around.
hilarity, but so much. Oh, nice background.
Yeah.
Nick, you gotta say something. Wait, hold on. Put it back on and say something, because the way that the autofocus works on this video, it might not have shown your screen because you
here we
weren't
go.
saying anything.
Gallery
Yep.
view.
Our Lord and Savior,
Nick
Nicholas Saban.
That is
Nick
incredible.
Satan, as I call him.
You would be wrong. But anyways, that is my.
Geez, I don't know if I'd do it.
That would definitely break your bones.
I would get
Higher
so
speed.
injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wearing pads. You have to keep that. Are they in full gear? Or are
I
they
would say
technically in
yes.
street okay, they're in full gear. They put
If
on
they're
that
in gear,
full-
they're gonna kill me. No, there's no
I mean,
way.
it depends. Well, let's
Now,
see.
They're not
Would you
targeting,
say no?
right?
if
It's
they
a
weren't
legal
in full
tackle,
gear?
right? They're not targeting.
I would say 100% no if they're wearing full pads. If they're not, maybe.
I would take it. I think it would
I'd
encourage
take
me.
it.
I think it would inspire me to work out more.
Yeah. Once they can't tackle you, then you try out for the team.
Boom.
No, you get to a point where they can't hit you anymore, and then Saban shows up, and he's like,
You're ready. Your time has come.
My only worry is that, like, if I sleep in and it's once a week and it's the
They
week
just
I'm
body
sleeping
slam
in,
you.
I just wake up to getting pile drived. That's my one
gonna-
worry. I'm not worried about the rest of it.
Oh, you think you'd be?
I'm
I
gonna
wouldn't be able to
go-
sleep.
I'm going to go no, not because of the paranoia, but because like once a week for the next 3 years, there's 100% chance I get injured multiple times. And
Yeah.
that's just like a very large inconvenience.
Yeah, I agree
Now-
with that.
As an actuarial science major, I should know this would increase my risk.
Ooh.
I don't know. I think I would do it.
Alright.
If it's just for 3 years, just because, like, I don't know. That's a cool story I can tell my kids.
I got tackled by someone from Alabama.
I got tackled by it,
years
just start
straight.
running through the list. Like the odds of one of
Yeah,
those
I'm-
people tackling you going on to be like phenomenal in the NFL, and you can be like, I got tackled by
After
him once.
3 years, what's that? 100.
I was walking out of my
56
bio
times.
class, and he just clocked me.
You see, like, Julio Jones score a touchdown, and you're like, yeah, I got tackled by him.
Tackled me.
Oh yeah, you're like Mark Ingram. He's
Yeah.
like, I was sitting on the toilet one day, and he just broke the door down, and knocked me over.
Derrick Henry just. I don't even remember that one too much. It's just I knew it happened.
I saw him.
Yeah, somebody
and then
else
I
told
blacked
me.
out. Concussion.
I saw.
Plus, I would do
I
a
was-
lot to pay off my loans. You know, I'll
Yeah.
take.
You would do a
physical
lot?
harm.
Well, I'll take you up on that because I have a pretty good one this time.
Pray tell,
I
Joe.
was watching the draft last night, and
Okay.
there was what's his name, Herbert, Justin Herbert,
Yes.
got drafted, and they mentioned that he was a biology student. and like with a 4.01 GPA, probably in a 5-point scale.
General science with
General science with a biology.
focus.
That being said, pretty good student. But what I was thinking is this kid just got drafted in the NFL. He's probably going to play in the NFL for a while. What are the odds he manages to like leave the NFL and with zero work experience in his field, get a job in his degree? Because I'm in a STEM field and I've like looked into the future, and like you have to do a lot of things outside of school to like build up your resume for companies to be like, oh, okay, we think that maybe you'd be like a good fit for us. So on a similar theme to that, I know neither one of you are going to go into the NFL. My stipulation is,
wow,
don't talk
your
got recruited by Yale, Joe.
Your college, you were in fact recruited by Yale football. I will never forget that.
And he is at a football school.
Yeah,
Right.
your stipulation is that your tuition is free. You go through college like perfectly normal.
Okay.
As soon as you graduate, you have to spend the next 3 years running shows of Click Clack Moo the musical, and that will be the only job experience you have on your resume after those 3 years as you try and find a job in your field with your degree. 3 years removed from college with no work experience in anything other than doing a traveling children's musical.
Now, question, can I take internships in college?
Let's go with no for the sake of this experience, because it's about, can you get a job with nothing but your degree and no relevant work experience?
And Click Clack Moo being the book where the duck learns to type or
the
something?
cows learn how to type on a typewriter and they start asking the farmer for things that they want.
Oh, I'm thinking
There's
of
a musical
if a duck
form
runs
of
for
it.
president or something like that.
No, there is a musical version of Click Clack Moo, the children's book. And it's so bad, I've heard that musical theater students run the show right out of college to build up their credits for their union dues. And then they all pretend that they never did it and never put it on their resume because it's so embarrassing.
So,
Wow.
So your student loans are paid for.
Yep.
How much does this gig pay?
Not much.
Not
Let's say
Well,
20,
like-
30, let's say 20, 30 grand a year. I'll be generous. So for 3 years, you have to live on pretty little pay.
Is this like small
Click,
community
Clack, Moo.
theater, or are we hitting Broadway with Click Clack Moo?
Oh, you're not hitting Broadway, dude. Small community theater, and it's traveling. You're on the road the whole time.
Oh.
You're going around the country. And at the end of that, you have to talk about your experience in Click Clack Moo and try and get a job in actuarial science.
I wouldn't.
Hard
It's
pass.
like,
I don't know.
With my tuition that I'm already paying, you have to sweeten the deal.
Now you gotta put yourself in our shoes.
Okay.
Nick. Let's pretend your tuition is a little bit steeper.
Okay, that's fair. To be in your shoe as an engineering student.
So
I don't know if it would change too much.
Sweeten the deal. I am paying like $32,000 a year at Illinois. So let's imagine that's your tuition.
Okay.
I don't know if it would change your job perspectives too much. Well, not having an internship would, but like, I mean, you still have the same experience out of college. You're just like 3 years older. But
yeah,
I wouldn't want to run
the
punishment here is having to run that musical.
Oh yeah, I specifically picked that musical to add to the punishment.
Like you could tell me I would get a job immediately after being done, and I might not take it. Because I don't want to spend 3 years of my life teaching cows how to type in musical fashion.
You know, the funny thing is I was originally going to make it 5 years, and I thought, no, that's too much. And I changed it to 3. But 3, because then the idea is that you would be getting a job, and they'd be like, oh, so you graduated 3 years ago. What have you been up to? Oh,
Click,
traveling.
Clack,
Oh, just traveling.
Click, clack.
Moo.
I'd have to say no. I can't do it. Cause like I feel like that's like your real prime. Like right out of college, you'd be on the road doing Click Clack Moo.
Yep. I could meet lots of interesting people.
Could.
It's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, it's a no for me. But that was interesting. I did like that one.
I try to think of ways I can put a positive spin on that. I can't think of it. Unless for some reason there's like some big star, like for some reason like Gwyneth Paltrow decided to be in your telling of Click Clack Moo.
But it's still community. Gwyneth just decided to pull up to whatever.
That does sound like something Gwyneth Paltrow would do.
It's an art project, you know.
Promote her goop.
All right.
What about you, David?
My scenario is that you get all of your loans paid, all of your giant loans paid, no debt, no interest, yada, yada, yada. That's a pretty good deal. But here's the thing. For the rest of your time in college, once a week, you will be on, it's a little unintentionally similar to Nick's, but once a week, how can I change it? So that's whatever. Once a week, you are on a prank show and you don't know it. Once a week, you're on one of those, like, it could be one of those MTV shows. It could be Walk the Prank, like that Disney Channel show. And once a week, you just get like a high budget prank done to you.
You tell me I got to get punked once a week and have all of my tuition paid.
Yes.
100% I'm in.
I would do that too. Because I feel like I'd be more embarrassed pranking someone than getting pranked, you know?
I do not mind getting pranked.
But here's the thing. Yeah, I don't think you could trust anything.
That's true.
Like,
You'd
you
have
could
the
go on a
paranoia
date with a
attitude.
girl and you're like, wait a minute, is this a prank? And she's
Oh,
like,
you're right.
no.
You're right.
Like, if I knew it was happening once a week and it already happened, then I'd be like, all right, I'm good for the rest of the week.
Yeah,
But, like,
but wait, hold on.
up until that
Are
point,
they allowed?
nothing is real.
How far ahead are they allowed to plan things? Because, like, what if they have a prank that's for 3 months from now that they start now, and they like allow me to like build a relationship with someone, and then at the end of 3 months they're like, this week's punked is that your relationship in the last 3 months has been a farce. Like, while I'm getting punked in other ways, they're like, we're gonna set this one up. It's gonna be a slow simmer. Because
Wow.
if they only have a week to do each one, then
I
like
feel like
you just have to wait like a week on anything, and it's like, all right, if this lasted more than a week, it's not a prank, right? But if they're allowed to prepare ahead of time, things get real paranoid.
I think so that you can trust something in your life. We'll say that they won't plan it out like 3 months ahead of time, but they might start it the week before. Like, if you're
Alright, like
finished
a
with
week
one
or
prank
two.
in that week, they could start building for the next week.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
I
it could
think
be
I'd
something.
still do it.
It could be something small, like, oh, there's a spider in your meal, but it's going to be high quality. So it might be like one of those things where like someone just gets like dragged up the wall, like a ghost got him or something like that. Like, it could be scarring. It could be like, hey, you just got this job. Really? No, you just walked the prank. Like, it could be real mean stuff. It's not going to be like that. I mean, good, but
I think
Yeah,
that'll be
do it.
mildly entertaining. Yeah, I'd
That
do
would be
that.
entertaining. And then like
Especially
you
have
could
my
be like,
loans paid.
yeah, and then if you're like you turn into a Instagram influencer, like I'm just gonna live stream the rest of my life because I know I'm gonna get pranked at some point this week.
is it going to happen today? It might not. Stay
People would
tuned.
always watch. It would be great. I would do it
I don't know. I just feel like I could trust nothing in my life.
after a week. Talk to me in a week.
Talk to me in a week. All right.
Come back in a week.
Friends, thank you so much for joining us today.
This has been fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for being the most well-prepared and well-dressed person
I'd
to ever
like
be
to
interviewed on this
actually promote a little something.
show. Go for it.
Oh, he's not wearing pants.
What do you mean? Oh,
He knew it.
you have no idea how hard this was to write backwards.
Well,
You're
it's
going to be
going up
really
backwards for
upset
us.
to know that they automatically flip the camera so it still looks
They
backwards.
did not.
You can unflip the camera. Unflip the camera.
How
Go
do
to
I
your
do that?
settings. It says @NickWard13.
Yes.
Is that?
Hit me up on my Venmo, folks.
That's your Venmo?
That's your. I was like, I know that's not your Instagram.
Oh, man.
So if you're feeling charitable, send. He's at Alabama. Sure, he doesn't have as many loans to pay because Alabama's nice to people in Chicago, but he still needs $1. Send @NickWard13.
Please don't request me money because I won't pay you.
Nick, thank you so much for a great show.
Absolutely. This has been a good time. Thank you for having me.
The nice list. Your pleasure. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Joe.
ILL.
I, baby.
Beautiful. Well done.
Joe, any last thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think he captured it pretty well at the ILLINI.
All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and please remember, if you're the Packers drafting in the first round, don't trade up to get a quarterback. Thank you. Have a good night.